and welcome to the program. While Cannes Festival unveils new gems every day, it is also the best occasion to promote Ukrainian film abroad. Joining me in the studio to talk about what's new in the Ukrainian film industry is Victoriia Yarmoshchuk, head of Ukrainian Motion Picture Association. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, Ukrainian Pavilion was at Cannes Festival this week. So, did you find new opportunities? Did you meet new producers? And what are the new trends of the Ukrainian market in Cannes Festival?
Actually, Ukrainian Pavilion present in Cannes for 10 years already, and this year was special because the pavilion was organized, managed and financed by joint forces of whole film industry of Ukraine. It means that producers, they gave their private money to this. Also, of course, the National State Agency of Film, they also contributed. But this cooperation between business and the authorities, it's really unique, and it also already gives some fruits. During this Cannes Film Festival, we hold at the Pavilion special presentation. It was called Discover Ukraine. We invited the international guests to see what we have new in Ukraine to represent our country. Also, it was very important to do this in this particular time because, as you know, a month ago, new legislation on cinematography was adopted,
speak about it a little bit later,
yeah, and this attracted a lot of visitors to our pavilion. People were coming and asking about new opportunities. So it's really important, and we're really thankful for our authorities that they did it.
You mean foreigners? You mean European, American, like to get into the Ukrainian market, or just were you interested to just to
this
buy
new
some
legislation and cash rebates in particular, they were this like I don't know, important fact about Ukraine, which attracted which raised interest to our country and attracted a lot of people. So this was like an information which really helped
people
us
to understand what's the situation.
Not all of people knew that Ukraine actually exists in the cinematography map of Europe, and a lot of them were surprised when they learned that this country is just at the center of the Europe. It's just 2 or 3 hours by plane from each European capital, and we have very cost-effective propositions for the international market.
It has a lot to offer to
production.
production.
And plus these cash rebates, which really put all this into the legal field. So it really means that now we are like a competitive between all the other countries. A lot of people who were coming to the pavilion, they were asking, of course, about opportunities to get some services in our country, to bring their films into our country, and to
have them produce in the country.
Yes, to use the possibilities of Ukrainian rental houses, sound stages, cinema studios, etc. But also they were talking about co-productions, and later I will explain why.
Still speaking about Ukrainian presence at Cannes, 2 films in particular retain the attention in Cannes: The Gentle Creature from Sergei Loznitsa and Frost with Vanessa Paradis. About this, and it was so directed by Šarūnas Bartas, who's a Lithuanian director, and it takes place, it's a love story, but it takes place during the conflict in eastern Ukraine. So it's really accurate, it's really present. Do you think that kind of film can raise awareness on the situation in eastern Ukraine? And it was
yeah, okay. Actually, yes, this is like this film, if you talk about Frost, it really tells, as for me, quite a true story about what happens in Ukraine, because this is not like a glamorous story about war with some glimpse of romance. It is not. It is just about that war is really cruel, people die there, and this is really horrible. This was actually you feel it when you see the movie, and when after the screening there was a press conference, and Šarūnas Bartas, he was explaining that by this film he wanted to tell some universal things about the war in general and to help to stop wars all over the world, but actually in particular about the situation in Ukraine as well. And as you told, there were 2 films from co-produced by Ukraine in this Cannes Film Festival program. And what is interesting and what unites them, that both these two films, they're co-productions of many countries. For example, Frost have like 5 co-producers, and Gentle Creature is even more.
From all over the...
And the fact that those films were at the official festival programs proves to the world that we can do films of a good quality. And now we have also these financial incentives, so it means we have good quality and we are cost effective. And I hope this will be, I'm sure it will be a driver to facilitate film production in Ukraine.
And to create, because Frost was critically acclaimed, as I read yesterday from the reports of Cannes. It was really acclaimed by the critics.
You know, these kind of films, which are art films, they could never be judged in the same way by everybody. They should raise stocks and
but we were talking about the finance, and so we're going to the core of the subject here, which is this law about cash rebates. Can you tell us more about this law about cash rebates, basically?
Yes, this law, it's in general transforms the system of support of cinema in our country. Very roughly, it could be divided into parts. One of them concerns the support of national films. Maybe it's not like so interesting to the international audience. That's why I will not talk much about this. And the second part, it regulates the relations between Ukrainian state and Ukrainian producers with the rest of the world. And under this law, each international producer can come to Ukraine and to receive a so-called cash rebate, which is like a payback of a certain part of his expenses spent here on movie production. And of course, this is...
So it's back on investment in some sort of ways?
No, you come to Ukraine, you spend some money, you provide reports on this, you provide them to the Ukrainian Film State Agency, special commission, they look through these reports, and after that they give producer back some part of expenses he had already actually spent in Ukraine. But of course, this scheme works only with the Ukrainian producer, so international producers should come to Ukraine, meet Ukrainian producers, and do film together. So this actually facilitates cooperation.
It creates a mechanism of co-production between those producers.
Exactly. And this is like a common practice for all European countries, actually for countries all over the world. And now we are also in this club.
So it's another way, as you said before, to make Ukrainian film industry more competitive and in the same level of production than the rest. Speaking about Europe, the visa-free regime waiver is gonna pass now. It's done. Will it help Ukrainian film industry for like Ukrainian producers or directors or going abroad to create?
Actually, it was one of the points in our presentation in Cannes. We were talking about that almost no one needs visas to get into Ukraine. And now we have like equal conditions. So at least it will stimulate morally our people to travel and to be more open to the world. That's why this is, of course, it's inspiring. It makes us feel a part of a community. And this may be the main importance exactly if we talk about the film industry, I think.
Well, thank you very much for this interview. It was a pleasure to have you in the studio. That was Victoriia Yarmoshchuk, head of the Ukrainian Motion Picture Association. Thank you for watching the program. Stay tuned for the rest.